Hello, welcome. Thanks to everyone for being here. I'm Nan Plummer, President and CEO of LexArts, and it's my honor to welcome you to the celebration of this new mural on Vine Street, our newest one, this vibrant celebration of Henry Clay by Casey McKinney, who is right here. I'm especially glad that Vice Mayor Kay and Councilmember Jake Gibbs from the 3rd District are here. Thank you, Councilmember Ploman, for being here as well. Well, it's a busy street, Vine Street, and it has a growing art collection. The Lexington Mural Project, which started many years ago under my predecessor Jim Clark, has been ably led since then by Nathan Zamaron. It's grown from a tiny number of murals that LexArts conceived and facilitated to lots of projects that have come into being by a variety of different ways. And it's very exciting to see this new work, and I'm going to turn it over to Vice Mayor Kay, and he and Councilmember Gibbs will tell us a little bit about how this came to be.
Thank you, Nan, and welcome everybody. This all came together in one of those serendipitous fashions where we had a little money and we had a site and we had interest and we had support from LexArts. We had support from the council. We found some really good artists to implement, and what you have here is an example of how, when we all work together, things really get done. I'm not going to say a whole lot more. I think Councilmember Gibbs is going to say a little bit about Henry Clay. I would only add that this is the first of what we hope will be many visually impactful images along this, what will be the Town Branch Trail. So thank you all for being here.
Hi, I'm Jake Gibbs. I represent the 3rd District, which includes this area here. And I had funds available to use on this project from some infrastructure funds that were allocated to me a couple of years ago. And I was delighted when the finance department made a ruling that public art qualified as infrastructure. Because usually when we think about infrastructure, we think of roads and things like that, which are important. But I think public art is very important. And so I'm really happy this is here. And I like the piece very much, but I'm not really qualified to comment on art. Some of my friends claim that I'm aesthetically impaired. But I do want to comment on the subject, Henry Clay, which I am qualified to comment on. I'm a history teacher in my other job. I'm a professor at BCTC. And Clay was one of the giants of American politics. He's probably the greatest political figure ever from Lexington, Kentucky. Sorry, Steve. Probably the greatest politician ever from Kentucky. While he is far from perfect, as you know, he owned slaves. He was a man of his times, but he was a gentleman, and more importantly, he was someone who could work with people and get things done. And I sure wish we had Henry Clay in Washington today. Thank you.
And I'm not qualified to talk about Henry Clay in the least, but I've been asked to talk for just a minute about the importance of public art in general. And I think anybody here could give at least as good an answer to that as I can. And I'm delighted to hear that at least sometimes it's considered infrastructure. It is a part of who we are, certainly here in Lexington, and it's the way we do things. And I think our examples in Lexington, and especially this one, show us the power of a work of art to communicate to and through its community, the number of things that came together to bring this work about art about. It's not unusual that many things do have to work together and people have to work together. In this case, it did. And I've said before, art is a subject on which intelligent, thoughtful, creative people, caring people, can and will disagree. And I've not seen a work of art, public or otherwise, that had universal and equal admiration. But the best kind of public art is not just an object that goes on view in a spot where many, many people can see it. It represents this consensus of thought and action of these intelligent, caring, thoughtful people who are the public in public art. And it's their work together that turns the work of a really good artist like Casey McKinney into a work of truly public art. And in this case, the Quarters Commission, responding to the enthusiasm of the people they represent and the irresistible opportunity of a blank white wall, have created another mural on Vine Street. There, of course, the beautiful Lincoln mural down here by the artist Team Cobra, and help me, Wasim's mural down at the Y. Vine Street is becoming a corridor for art, and as Vice Mayor Kay said, when the Town Branch Commons makes this a pedestrian-friendly area, truly, this is going to be one of its great landmarks. And I predict that this one will become yet another signature piece here in Lexington. Abraham Lincoln was an admirer of Henry Clay. I had to look this up. And he gave a eulogy in the Illinois State House when Clay died in 1852. And he said, "Our country is prosperous and powerful, but could it have been quite all it has been and is to be without Henry Clay? Such a man the times have demanded, and such in the providence of God was given us." Well, now we have Henry Clay on Vine Street, and I am very grateful. And I want to turn it over to Casey McKinney to talk about the making of this work. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for coming out today. I just want to briefly kind of speak about the mural itself and kind of how it started. Congressman Gibbs kind of went into detail about Mr. Clay's legacy. That's one thing that kind of drew him to me as a person to be the center of this mural. When I started thinking about what I wanted to create, first thing I took into consideration was the public art that already existed in this area. And there's no doubt that you can miss the mural on the back of the Kentucky Theater or Wasim's piece at the end of this road right here. So taking that into consideration, Henry Clay just seemed like the perfect fit for this with his estate down in Ashland, right down the road, but also just his extensive career in politics and his impact on Lexington. The colors actually represent some of the meaning behind the piece. The composition is symbolic of the building blocks and the growth of the city, state, and of our nation. The blue colors symbolize loyalty, strength, and wisdom, and trust, and also give a calming effect. But they are also the colors of success, enthusiasm. But orange is also the color of determination, warmth, and balance. I really wanted to kind of put my style as well as bringing some sort of representation to Mr. Clay himself. And so I think it turned out to be a good blend of both my style and the realistic style that I'm normally not known to do. I don't really work on portraits that often. But I'm just hoping that everybody enjoys it. When I installed it, it seemed like everybody came by that I talked to had a positive reaction to the piece. I've lived in Lexington for about 11 years. I've been in Louisville for the last 10 years. But I'd always like coming back and seeing the public pieces that I have in town. This is my third piece here. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoys it. And I appreciate everybody coming out.
Thanks, Casey. I think now we're just ready to take questions one-on-one and welcome you to do that. And thanks to everyone for being here to celebrate with us today. Thanks.